Okay, so you're listening because I want to get right to the core of things, the stuff that's actually shaping things without wading through tons of jargon. And today we're tackling something pretty big. Hydrogen engines. Can they, really be the clean, sustainable transport solution we're hoping for? That's basically our mission for this deep dive. It's a field getting a lot of attention.
Absolutely. There's a definite buzz around hydrogen, and it makes sense that we've looked at sources covering, well, everything from the basic science to what companies are doing right now. Our goal is really just to give you the essential picture, what these engines are and why they might be such a key piece of the puzzle going forward.
Right. So, okay, hydrogen engine. Sounds straightforward, but I get the feeling there's more to it. Like different types. What are we actually talking about?
Yeah, that's a great place to start. Essentially, I mean, any system using hydrogen as fuel fits the bill. But it's really important to know there are two main ways this is happening right now. First, you've got hydrogen internal combustion engines. And second, there are hydrogen fuel cell engines, two quite different approaches.
Hydrogen internal combustion. Okay, so that sounds familiar. Like you take a normal car engine, a gasoline one, and just feed it hydrogen instead. Is it that simple?
Well, in principle, yeah, that's the basic idea. A hydrogen internal combustion engine works, very much like your standard petrol or diesel engine. But the key difference, and it's a big one, is the fuel it burns hydrogen, not fossil fuels. And what's really interesting is that companies like Cummins, they're actually developing these right now for big stuff like trucks and buses.
Cummins, right. So heavy duty transport.
Exactly. Imagine like the sound of a big rig, but the only thing coming out the back is, well, water vapor, mostly water. That's the promise there.
Wow, okay. Water vapor. That's quite a shift. And the other type, the fuel cell one, that sounds a bit more futuristic. How does that work? No burning.
Right? No burning at all. It's actually a really neat electrochemical process. Basically, the fuel cell takes hydrogen and oxygen, and through a chemical reaction, it creates electricity. There's no combustion involved. Think of it like a battery you keep refueling with hydrogen, and that electricity then powers an electric motor, which drives the wheels.
A chemical reaction, so it's quiet and clean.
Extremely clean. The only thing that comes out is H2O, water. So, yeah, very quiet compared to combustion and zero pollutants from the tailpipe. It's a completely different way to get power from hydrogen.
Okay, this is all happening just as we're trying, really hard to move away from gasoline and diesel. We see electric cars everywhere now. So, why the big push for hydrogen too? Why is it such a big deal alongside EVs?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? EVs, battery electrics are definitely a huge part of the picture. But hydrogen engines, they offer some specific advantages that are pretty compelling, especially when you think about practicality. Like one of the big things people still worry about with EVs is charging time, right?
Oh, absolutely. Range anxiety is real, but also just waiting around for hours sometimes. How does hydrogen stack up there?
Well, this is where hydrogen really shines. Refueling a hydrogen car, it's fast. Often pretty much the same time it takes you to fill up a gasoline car now, maybe 5 minutes. The Toyota Mirai, for example, it's a fuel cell car you can actually buy. Takes about 5 minutes to refuel.
5 minutes, seriously. That's huge, especially for things like trucking, like you mentioned, or taxis, buses, people who can't afford long downtimes.
Exactly. And then there's the range.
Ah, yes. How far can you actually go?
Well, sticking with the Mirai example, it gets over 400 miles on a single fill. Hydrogen itself, you see, packs a lot of energy for its weight. So you can store quite a bit of potential range in the tanks without adding excessive weight. So you get that combo, quick fill-ups, and long range. That tackles some key limitations people see with current battery tech, at least for certain uses.
Okay, cleaner, potentially faster to charge or refuel, longer range. It sounds really promising. So who's actually doing this? Who are the big players putting money into making this happen?
Well, we're seeing quite a bit of activity, actually. Toyota and Hyundai, they've been in the fuel cell game for a while now, pushing their technology forward. BMW is also investing, looking at hydrogen maybe as a complementary thing alongside their electric cars.
Right. So the usual suspects in passenger cars, but not just them, you said. Cummins is doing the combustion engine thing for trucks.
Precisely. Cummins is really focused on those hydrogen combustion engines for heavy-duty applications where, like you said, refueling time really matters economically, and it goes beyond vehicle makers. Bosch, the big supplier, they've mentioned being involved in something like over 100 hydrogen projects around the world. That signals pretty broad confidence.
100 project. Wow. Bosch is huge. And didn't you mention something about planes earlier? Hydrogen in aviation?
Yes, that's another really exciting area. The aerospace industry is looking very seriously at hydrogen to try and decarbonize flying. Rolls-Royce, for instance, has already done successful ground tests with hydrogen-powered jet engines. That could be a massive shift for air travel if it cans out.
Cars, trucks, buses, planes. The potential seems enormous. And then you mentioned something really unusual, a robotic horse.
Ah, yes, Kawasaki. They showed off this concept, a hydrogen-powered sort of robotic quadruped called Corleo. It's maybe a bit whimsical, but it's a great example, I think, of just how versatile people think hydrogen could be. Applications maybe way beyond what we normally think of as transport.
Corleo, the hydrogen horse. Okay, I won't forget that one. But look, with all this potential, all this buzz, there must be downsides, right? It can't all be smooth sailing. What's the catch? What are the big hurdles?
You're absolutely right. There are definitely some significant challenges right now. I'd say the two biggest are, first, the cost, specifically the cost of making clean hydrogen, and second, the lack of widespread refueling stations. Infrastructure.
Okay, cost of clean hydrogen. What does clean mean here?
So green hydrogen is the ideal that's made using renewable electricity like solar or wind power to split water into hydrogen and oxygen. It's called electrolysis. That process itself is clean, but doing it at a massive scale is still pretty expensive compared to traditional ways of making hydrogen, which often involve natural gas and create CO2.
Got it. So making it cleanly is pricey. And the infrastructure? Yeah, I haven't exactly seen hydrogen pumps at my local gas station.
Exactly. The network is still very, very limited in most places. You can't just pull up anywhere. And that creates a bit of a chicken and egg problem. Companies are hesitant to build stations if there aren't many hydrogen cars, and B, they're hesitant to buy the cars if they can't easily refuel them.
Right, the classic infrastructure dilemma. So it feels like we need progress on both the tech costs and the station build out kind of at the same time. Is there hope on those fronts?
Oh, definitely. Technology doesn't stand still. Costs for electrolysis are coming down, and fuel cell tech is getting better and cheaper too. Plus, governments are starting to see hydrogen as potentially crucial for hitting climate targets. That could mean, you know, serious public investment in building that hydrogen infrastructure, which could really help kickstart things.
Okay, so it seems like yes, challenges now, but the path forward looks plausible. I've seen some experts really talk it up, calling hydrogen the potential fuel of the future.
Yeah, you hear that a lot. And it seems particularly relevant for those sectors where, as we said, quick refueling and long range are almost essential. Think long haul trucking again, or shipping, maybe even aviation. For those industries, the ability to power up quickly is a massive operational plus that hydrogen offers.
Right. Okay, so let's try and pull this together. We've talked about the two main types, hydrogen combustion engines, kind of like familiar engines but cleaner, and fuel cells, which make electricity chemically. Both offer potentially huge emission reductions, mostly water, which is amazing.
Exactly, and we've touched on those key advantages, refueling in minutes, not hours, and getting ranges comparable to or even better than gasoline cars today. Plus, we see major companies, car makers, truck makers, suppliers, even aerospace putting real effort and money into developing this tech.
But we also have to acknowledge the hurdles. Making truly green hydrogen cheaply and at scale is still a work in progress. And building out that vital network of refueling stations is a massive undertaking that's only just beginning, really.
Absolutely, those are the key things to watch. But the progress is undeniable. Technological improvements are happening constantly. And if government support for infrastructure comes through, well, that could really accelerate adoption.
So it really does feel like hydrogen engine tech, while maybe not fully mature yet, is, well, it's a genuinely exciting piece of the puzzle for greener mobility, isn't it? Definitely something to keep a close eye on.
Without a doubt. If you're interested in where clean technology is heading, especially for transport, you really need to pay attention to what's happening with hydrogen.
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive, here's a final thought for you to chew on. We've seen the potential applications expand in cars, trucks, buses, planes, even robotic horses. Given that pace of innovation and that kind of breadth, what other maybe unexpected areas of our lives could hydrogen end up powering in the future? Something to think about.